Hi, this is Todd Malakote, the SEO faculty for Market Motive and online marketing consultant at stuntdouble.com, and I'm here today to give you the guide to understanding the link matrix. We're going to look at a spreadsheet that explains all the criteria that we need to fill out for this spreadsheet to understand better the value of any given link and what it may be worth to our SEO efforts. So let's take a look at our sample link matrix. We're going to pick 3 link targets. In this case, we're working on an educational toys site, and we're going to look at a handful of factors. 7 factors in total, and 5 that we want to fill out the criteria for. And I'll show you how to fill out those criteria using the tools that we have access to. So we're going to look at these 3 sites. These are our link targets. We're trying to get a link on these sites, and we want to evaluate what these links are actually worth to our SEO efforts. And we're going to do that by looking at the total inbound links to these pages, which happen to be the home pages. We're going to look at the total links to the domain. That's the TLD to D. We're going to look at the Moz rank or the page authority to that page, the Moz rank or the domain authority to the domain as a whole, and the age of the domain we're going to look at with whois.sc. On a further scale, you'd want to consider the placement of the link on the website. Is it falling in the footer? That might be the worst. Is it falling in the sidebar? That might be okay to good. Is it falling in the body copy? That might be great. If it's a run a site link as advertising in really good high context, or maybe it's just on 30% of the site in different areas in context, that would be the perfect type of link. And then we also want to consider the cost per click just for competition purposes and overall the expected cost per acquisition. This is where people get hung up, is with this expected cost per acquisition, because we're not actually buying links. We're just trying to place a monetary value on them for what we would expect or what we would be willing to spend if we had a budget in place to create the content, to do some outreach. We want to know the value of these links and set that expected cost per acquisition. So I'll get into that in just a moment, and we'll look at how to fill out each of these individual areas using the tools at our disposal. And the tool that we're going to use is the Moz toolbar or Open Site Explorer. But you could use different tools if you were so inclined, or if you had that access at your company or to your website. So we're going to start with installing the extension. You have to download the Mozbar extension for Chrome or Firefox. We're going to allow this and enable it. You can see I did that here, and then we're going to have access to it here. Now once we have it in our toolbar, we want to show the Mozbar. It'll show up like this originally. You can pull this data in here, but it's a little tougher. So we're going to open up one of our sites here. This is our first one, Educational Toys Blog. And then we're just going to hit this, and we're going to enable that toolbar. I can just barely see it down here, but I know it's right there. So we're going to show that Mozbar and see how it pops up in the side, so we can start to pull this information. We have access to all that information in one place. We can get the page authority, the links to the page, the domain authority, the links to the domain, and we can fill out our spreadsheet based on that information. Now the other piece of information that we're going to need is the age of that page. So in order to do that, you just check whois information. You can do this from a variety of sources. I happen to like whois.sc. It's a nice shortcut. So we do whois.sc, Educational Toys Blog, and that's going to give us information on the age. You can see here the IP history. I tend to just take the older one of the two. The name server history is generally going to be the longer of the two, I believe. And so this one's 5 years old, so we would put a 5 in that spreadsheet under that area. Now I have this matrix filled out, so I'll show you how we come up with that expected cost per acquisition. We want to fill out each of these individual areas. We can do that using the toolbar. We can do that using Open Site Explorer. We're just going to go to each of these individual pages, or just type each one into Open Site Explorer. And again, see the domain authority, page authority, total links. We're just looking to fill out this spreadsheet and then add the age on there. And this just gives us a range for the value of our individual links. So we have 3 link targets. You should be using your own for your website. We're just picking 3 targets and saying, hey, what are these links worth? So I've filled out all of these areas, these 5 areas. our 5 criteria areas. And from this, I can start to get an idea of which of these is the most powerful link, which of these is the best link, which of these I might want to spend the most time or budget to acquire. And I can see that it's Top Toys Blog in this case. I can see they have more links, they have a higher page authority, they have a higher domain authority, and so they're probably the best of the bunch. Now, when we're filling out this expected cost per acquisition, every link has value. You're probably not going to get a lot of Moz Rank 10 or page authority 100 type of links. So you need to keep that in mind, that most of these links are going to come in this 10, 20, 30, 50, maybe 60 and into the 70s kind of area. But it's probably not going to be that 100 Moz Rank 100 or page authority, domain authority 100, 90, 80. You're not going to get them in that range very often. So the range you are going to get them in, you need to put that value on. So you might have $5,000 or $10,000 as a link budget. That means if you're trying to get 100 links, you can put a $50 to $500 value on those. And we're just looking for a range here. So in this case, I'd probably put 20 cents on the lowest type of link that we're going to get. It can no longer be said that all links are good links. There are some bad links. You don't want to get all the scraper, free-for-all directory type of links. They can potentially hurt you, but most links have some type of value if they're reasonable. But if they have a Moz Rank of 30, they might be worth, say, $10, $20, $30 to our campaign. So we're just going to start at 10. We're going to say this is worth $10, and at the risk of filling this all out for you, in that 70 range for domain authority, that might be worth $10,000 to our company, to our search rankings. That's a very powerful link. The 60 might only be worth, $500. But that's still a pretty powerful link. This one might be 300, 200, and you can see how we get those numbers. It's not quite grasping for straws, it's not quite scientific, but there is a range there, and I'm just looking for you to fill out that range. So in this case with these, I would probably say Educational Toys Blog ballpark is worth about $100 for that link. The content that we would need to create if we did a guest post, the outreach, somebody to send those emails, the labor involved. We're not buying these links, remember. We're just putting a value, a monetary value on them and trying to associate that with our links so that we can create a budget for our SEO project. This one's a little bit more powerful, might be $150. The most powerful link of the bunch, we're going to say that one's worth $250. So most links are going to fall within that $50 to $500 range kind of thing. So keep that in mind when you're filling out your link matrix. Hopefully this gives you all the information that you need and you have a better understanding of just what a link is worth and the most important criteria to evaluating link value. Thank you for joining me. This has been the Link Matrix.